ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the GameCorp Retro Review. I am your host, as always, Chad, and joining me is Matt. We're reviewing Bart versus the World because it's Simpsons month, 6 weeks on this show, and that means we're talking about Simpsons games for the next month, 4 weeks extra. Let's get into it. We'll start with Matt. Matt, we do this in categories of five: graphics, sound, gameplay, fun factor, challenge. We stole this from the old GamePro magazine. Don't even ask. We did. Graphics, obviously, is what it sounds like. So is sound. Gameplay is pretty obvious. Fun factor is about how much we enjoyed it. And challenge is basically, is it worth it? Did we find it worthwhile to play? So with that being stated pretty rather obviously, Matt, let's start with graphics. And you do your five and I'll do mine. Then we'll give this thing a grade.
Alrighty. Starting in the graphics, I'm gonna say this was a slight improvement over Space Mutants in terms of at least the variety and its level design. Everything else, honestly though, just had this kind of shallow, empty feeling with me that wasn't filled with a lot of enemies or anything for the what it was actually trying to do. They're kind of bland and boring. The bosses were cool. There was at least different themes to Burns. I thought that was funny. Animations are kind of stiff and rigid, though, so overall, the improvements here are relatively on the smaller side, but still good enough to be slightly above an average score for me. So I'm going to go at a 3 out of 5 on graphics. When it comes to sound, it's about in the same boat as before when we played Space Mutants. There's maybe slight variations on the Simpsons theme itself, but there's not much else. Um, the sound effects are not really standing out to me in any way whatsoever. It's all pretty much stock things you heard before. And honestly, from being a franchise licensed game for having so many different things you can pull from, I was kind of left disappointed in this category. So I'm at a 2 out of 5 on the sound. Um, Gameplay, the I did appreciate the more simplistic approach in terms to what you actually need to do. It's more just collecting and just getting to the end of the stage. I feel like that was nice and actually giving some variety with some mini games. That was cool. Trying to throw in something else to make it not so boring. But the core mechanics again are the main issue here, and there are no better than Space Mutants, and that mapping of the jump and the run to the same mechanic, it still doesn't work here, and that's where I'm going to be leaving it with the same score as before. You're getting a 2 out of 5 for me. Um, when it comes from fun factor, when the control scheme hasn't changed much and it's just as bad as before, and when you're left at the sake of those mechanics and trying to accomplish something, it becomes more frustrating because this stuff just won't work. It doesn't become fun anymore. It's just frustrating for all the wrong reasons, and for that alone, I'm going to stick with a 1 on this one for fun factor. For challenge, I feel like I can be fair here if the controls were better, but because it would be a very easy game to play beginning to end. There would be no problems. But because of those mechanics, I don't feel like it was worth the time and effort that you would be able to put into it, because you just be spending most of your time just trying to get past the control scheme. So I can't go any higher than a 2 out of 5. Right. You still there?
Oh, I was on mute. That's funny. I was talking and no one was listening because I was on mute. As far as graphics go, this is gonna be a fun show. Like I was saying, but no one was hearing. I'm gonna give it a 3. I liked a lot of what I saw, but the animations itself wasn't great, especially the jump mechanic. It made you look like you were. I don't even know how to describe it. Jumping off of a building without a cape, thinking you were a superhero, but you weren't. That's pretty much what it looked like. So I'll give it a 3 because I did like a lot of the stylings, but the actual walking around animations and jumping animations are just not great. Sound. I don't know if I'm already fatigued on Simpsons or what have you, but having to listen to the Simpsons theme song at every level was not great. I wanted to do terrible things to terrible people because of it. So I'm gonna give it a 2 because I can't anymore. Like it's cool if you do it for the intro, but man, there's more music, there's more notes in the world than just those. You can put something else together, folks. Gameplay though, I actually kind of like the gameplay. It's not great. It's a fucking platformer, so I'm already gonna be at least 2 points down on that. It's not impossible to play, and I did like the fact that you could play as like Bartman at certain points in the game. I thought that was cool because I'm a big Bartman fan. So yeah, I'm definitely vibing with that. So I'll give it a 3. It's not the worst thing I've ever played. Plus, you get help from the Simpsons family, so that's always fun. I enjoyed playing this a little bit more than you did. I thought the little sprites were very fun and cute. I liked the fact they kind of set it up as a TV episode of The Simpsons. You got little mini games and yeah, it's a little fun time. It's not great by any means, but I'll still give it a 2. As far as challenge goes, I do follow your train of thought with challenge. It's not exactly the most mundane thing you've ever done. It's worth a glimpse into the world of The Simpsons if you're interested in that. But other than that, I don't think it's worth too much of your time. I certainly wouldn't spend days playing this game. But if you want to sit down for an hour and see if you could beat it once, that's completely up to you. So overall, that gives us a score of, let's see. It gives us a score of 11 out of 25. That's not a strong showing by any means. And that gives us a grade of 44. I don't know if that's better or worse than the last few weeks, but it's now its own thing. So there it is. So next week we'll do another Simpsons game to review. It'll probably be not great. I'm looking forward to that. But until then, we've been doing this thing, and now we're done doing this thing. If you're listening live on twitch.tv/Real Nerdcorp, be sure to stick around for the Wrestling Underground. Nope, wrong podcast. The Nerdcorp podcast. And you're listening live on YouTube. You aren't. It's recorded. Be sure to check out realnerdcorp.com and the Twitter at NERDCORP. For Matt, I'm Chad. This has been the GameCorp Retro Review. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for giving us a chance. And as always, play more games.